All right, Shalom. I want to give all the praise, honor, and glory to Yahweh Bahasham, Yahweh Shai Bahasham Rakakwadash. Double honors to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone who taught me this truth. Shalom to the hopeful elect. I'm back with another quick lesson through the Holy Spirit, the Rakakwadash. And the scriptures directly condemn all the pagan rituals that are tied to Halloween's roots in Samhain, the worship of the dead. Okay. And we'll come back to this article in a little bit, but that's the society that we live in. All right, I had did a lesson going into this article before. It says meddling with mediums, despite the Most High's warnings, occultism is thoughtlessly being absorbed by our culture. All right, that's the way of America, man. As we know today, people are going to be fully involved in, witchcraft, sorcery, glorifying spirits and ghosts, the dead, and all of that madness. All right, so I just wanted to do this quick lesson, just to go into the roots of Halloween, and all the demonic practices. All right, and we know that a lot of these people don't care, especially our people, you so-called Negroes, Latino, Native Americans, Hispanics. All right, but this is more or less, edification that has to go out, because as we know, the majority of you Christians are a bunch of hypocrites, So just wanted to grab a couple of scriptures here and wrap this up. But I had saw this earlier here. Let's play this.
You are actually a practicing witch, right?
That is correct.
What does Halloween mean to witches? And is there something significantly spiritual about Halloween?
Yes, truly. Samhain, the original holiday celebrated by the Gauls, the Celtic people that ruled over most of Europe. You would actually celebrate by honoring the fallen dead who would come back to your home at this point to check in on you. You would leave offerings for these passed on loved ones, and that's what became the Samhain tradition. In fact, even dressing up is part of that same ritual, where if you give the appropriate tidings to your lost loved ones and your ancestors, you actually receive what you have dressed as. So you personify different aspects into your life, and that is what your costume is actually supposed to represent.
Whatever you dress up as, you're receiving from
Yes.
what you're dressed as.
Yes,
Wow.
that's one of the original intentions.
Is there anything spiritual about carving a pumpkin? Is there something
Yes. So that is the warding to the negative spirits, creating that jack-o'-lantern, that scary face. If you actually look up original turnip jack-o'-lanterns, they're terrifying.
He was passionate about talking about how spiritual Halloween is. If you can't take it from a Christian saying it's satanic, at least take it from a witch. You are
Man, you see? And somebody put in the comment, it says, dang, bro. And yet Christians in my comments are calling me legalistic and religious for warning people against it. Yeah, because we all know that you damn Christians are a bunch of hypocrites, man. All right? And all you do is make excuses to justify, your wickedness, right? Real quick, Ephesians 5 and 11. And it reads, it says, Ephesians 5 and 11, it says, and have no fellowship with the unfruitful works of darkness, but rather reprove them. And here it is. You so-called Christians are all about Halloween, man. You participate, you get all into it, man. All right. Halloween is rooted in darkness, man. Death. Okay. Sorcery. All right. So if you're supposed to be a follower of the Lord, you're not supposed to be joining into this madness, man. You're supposed to be exposing it. Right. But like he said, right, Christians are calling them legalistic and religious for warning people against it, right? You Christians, man, goodness. Jeremiah chapter 10 and verse 2. Jeremiah 10 and 2, it says, thus saith the Lord, Yahweh Shem Yahushai, learn not the way of the heathen. Learn not the way of the heathen, all right? That's self-explanatory. And be not dismayed at the signs of heaven, for the heathen are dismayed at them. 1 Corinthians chapter 10 and verse 20 says, but I say that the things which the Gentiles sacrifice, they sacrifice to devils and not to the Most High. And I would not that you should have fellowship with devils. You cannot drink the cup of the Lord in the cup of devils. You cannot be partakers of the Lord's table and of the table of devils. All right. So these modern Halloween practices, like the costumes and the offerings of candy and these spirit, ghost related themes, they all mirror these pagan rituals that were done to appease those demonic spirits. All right. So the end all is that it's all demonic. It's all wicked, man. And you can't, justify it. Okay. For those who say they're followers of the Lord, Anyway, let's go back to the article here. All right. Let's make it a little bigger. All right. Again, Samhain, the origins of Halloween and Celtic tradition. All right. Let's go down. Mythological roots of Samhain. It says the roots of Samhain are deeply embedded in Celtic mythology, connecting to various deities and spirits revered by the ancient Celts. During this time, it was believed that the boundary between the earthly realm and the other world was especially fragile. It says Celtic deities such as the god of the dead, Don and the goddess of fertility, Kali each played significant roles in mythology surrounding Samhain. The other world was a mystical realm inhabited by spirits and ancestors. Celebrations often included rituals to honor these entities and seek their guidance. Legends and folklore, stories like, I can't pronounce that, the mythical race of gods and their interactions with humans often surface during Samhain, emphasizing the importance of this time in Celtic belief. All right, so this is a very high, satanic holiday, for these witches and warlocks, okay, these magicians and shit, Number 4, rituals and traditions of Samhain. As a vibrant festival, Samhain was celebrated with various rituals and traditions that sought to honor the dead and welcome the new season. Common practices: families would leave food and offerings at their doorsteps to appease wandering spirits. All right, so this is where that whole idea of trick or treating, setting candy on your front porch, it all goes back to that. Honoring these appeasing wandering spirits. To appease these wandering spirits. All right, is witchcraft. Bonfires. The lighting of bonfires was a central aspect of the celebration, symbolizing purification and protection. Participants would jump over the flames for good luck and ward off evil. Ancestor veneration. Honoring ancestors was a key component of Samhain. It was believed that the spirits of loved ones returned to visit, and rituals were performed to welcome and honor them. Right, completely off, man. Right, and that's why we, just referencing that article again. Especially our people, they're deep into honoring their so-called ancestors. Praying to their ancestors and all of that high level sorcery, the voodoo and shit. Got the altar set up in the living room in their closet. Praying to their ancestors, their slaves, all that madness, man. All right. It says, 5, the role of masks and costumes. One of the most recognizable aspects of Samhain is the use of masks and costumes. This tradition was involved significantly over the centuries. Has involved significantly over the centuries. Origins. Disguises were originally worn to confuse and ward off evil spirits that were thought to roam during this time. Purpose: masks served as a protective measure, allowing individuals to blend in with the spirits and avoid being harmed. Evolution. Over time, this practice transformed into modern tradition of Halloween costumes, where creativity and imagination takes center stage. Number 6, the influence of Samhain on Halloween. As Christianity spread through Celtic regions, many elements of Samhain were integrated into Christian traditions. See? Many elements were integrated into Christian traditions, leading to the modern holiday of Halloween. See? Christian integration. The church never established November 1st as All Saints' Day, a time to honor saints and martyrs, which coincided closely with Samhain. Transformation. Over the years, Samhain's customs and celebrations were adapted into Halloween, with trick or treating and festive gatherings becoming commonplace. Comparative analysis: while ancient Samhain focused on ancestral veneration and spiritual connection, contemporary Halloween often emphasizes fun, costumes, and community engagement. All right. It says, yeah, the rest reads on, man. So anyway, it's all off. Is the point, right? Let's see if we want to take anything from here. The origins of Halloween, Celtic roots, evil spirits, pagan rituals, stuff that you can all read on your own. But you know, yeah, as we read earlier, like other ancient Gaelic festivals, Samhain was seen to be a liminal time when the boundaries separating the spiritual world and the real world were reduced. This is why Halloween has become associated with appearance of spirits, fairies, ghosts from the mythical underworld. All right, as you see here. All right, evil spirits. Okay. When the lines were blurred between worlds of the living and the dead, Celts used the opportunity to honor and worship their ancestors. Many, however, were concerned about the access darker and evil spirits had to influence those in the real world. Sacrifice, Roman and Christian influence, so on and so forth. All right, you can read that on your own. All right, so we get it. All right, because I saw this yesterday. All right, let's pull this up as well. You know, so it says, have Halloween decorations become too scary? The skeletons are taller, the witches seem to be more lifelike, and the blood and gore is more plentiful. Right, and you see that out there on the streets in the neighborhood, man. They got these big ass, skeletons and monsters, man. Here's the video they posted on the article, man. This is the shit that people have up in the yards. Okay, people go overboard with this stuff, man. So like these people, they're all about, continuing these pagan practices, man. Right? They could care less about the origins of where they go back to, because this is a demonic place, and this is why the Lord is getting ready to destroy this place, man. Let's see. There's all the crazy ass pictures here, man. We're not gonna read this long article, but you get it. These people have gone above and beyond with these decorations, man. But anyway, let's grab one more, and we'll wrap this up. This is Deuteronomy 18 and 9. All right, Deuteronomy 18 and 9, it says, when thou art come into the land which the Lord Yahweh Shemel thy power giveth thee, thou should not learn to do after the abominations of those nations. There should not be found among you anyone that maketh his son or daughter to pass through the fire, or that uses divination, or an observer of times, or an enchanter, or a witch, or a charmer, or a counselor with familiar spirits, or a wizard, or a necromancer. For all that do these things are an abomination unto the Lord. And because of these abominations, the Lord Yahweh Shemel doeth drive them out before thee. All right. So again, as it is written, man, the Lord is against all of this madness. So just wanted to put that out there, man. But these people especially a lot of people, they're going to continue to forward these pagan traditions, as I said before. Right. I thought this was hilarious too. NBC News, it says, Happy Halloween. DHS spokeswoman responds to report of immigration agents wearing horror masks in L.A. That's messed up, man. Right? People will be getting snatched tonight, Crazy. All right? But anyway, just want to bring that out. All right? Again, the origins of Halloween and its connection to Samhain and the worship of the dead, Shalom.